Okay, so I go into a room full of brown faces, beautiful brown faces. But in that room of brown faces, I see her eyes, big, black, and bold. And then she smiled and lit up the entire room. Chocolate, mahogany stuff coming out of all over the place. I was like, wow, you know? And then she looked at me. And when she looked at me, I was looking at her, and we were looking at each other, and we had a communication. I mean, you could tell right from there, and I was having all these visions of chocolate and honey, mahogany, swirling. Yeah, she brought out the freak in me. It's like, wow. So, I talked to her. So the reason I was there, that I went to a college where I was the only African American. And so my job was to go to high schools in New York and tell them that they should come to this university. And I think I got a couple of people to come, but one person I knew was coming for sure. And that was Rosa Encarnacion. She was the most beautiful Puerto Rican woman that you ever seen in your life, and she had a big afro. She had those pretty lips that kind of pouted out that looked like she wanted to be kissed. And I wanted to kiss her. And so I talked to her, and we started going out, and it was during the summertime. And every weekend, we'd go out to salsa dancing downtown in New York. We salsa, all week long. We would practice and stuff, y'all, salsa and stuff. I didn't really have to do much but turn her, but but I looked cool, though. I was cool, And so we started going out, and she goes to the school where I'm going to and whatnot. And then while I'm in school, I became involved with a pharmaceutical concern. And I was able to buy a really nice car, diamond in the back, sunroof, top. I was digging the scene with a gangster lean. Had it going on, you know what I'm saying? And every weekend we go down to the city and we party and we dress up in our suit. I put my suit on, she had my pretty dresses on and stuff. She came to me one day and she said, I am Puerto Rican. I'm like, this ain't no surprise to me. And I have never been to Puerto Rico. And I have decided that I am going to Puerto Rico on an exchange program. Okay, she was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. And I was like, I guess I over-dramatized it a bit. Because I was like, I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go. If I have to beg and plead for your sympathy, I don't mind, 'cause you mean that much to me. Ain't too proud to beg, you know it. Please don't leave me, girl, don't you go. She left anyhow. I was like, dang, so she's gone. So, we started writing letters to each other every day, I love you. I never seen anybody like you before. I never met anybody like you before. And I was writing letters every day. And now she was writing letters like twice a week. Then she was writing letters maybe once a week. And I was like, whoa. And then winter break came. So when winter break came, she came back to New York, and I put on my suit and got ready to go down to the club because I know we were going to salsa and stuff. And things it wasn't the same. I was still madly in love with her, but it just did not seem like everything was going to be the same anymore. So then she went back to Puerto Rico. So there I am in New York, she's in Puerto Rico, and I'm missing her. I am missing her so much that I got to go to Puerto Rico. So I get a ticket to go to Puerto Rico, but before I go, I talk to my boys and I say, now look, this little pharmaceutical business that we have has to be maintained, and I'm expecting that I will be getting my residuals in Puerto Rico. So I go to Puerto Rico, and I get my residuals for the first couple of weeks, and so we staying in expensive hotels on the weekends at the Condado, we dancing and partying and stuff. We got it going on. But then my money stops coming. So I called New York and I said, my money stopped coming. Because sometimes people don't understand. So they said, that's correct. Your money stopped coming. And if you want your money to start flowing again, you better get your butt back here to New York. And I was like, cool. I jumped up. I said, baby, I'll be back in a week or two. Jumped on a plane, and I went to New York and stuff. And I got out, and they had my car waiting for me, and I dressed up like Shaft and stuff like that. I was bad. Boo-doo-doom, 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 bang. Like I had it going on. I was cool. I had my little walk and stuff like that. Turns out that, when I got back to New York, they had, hitmen and gangsters and stuff that had really taken over the stuff that I was doing, and I really wasn't needed anymore. Not only was I not needed, I wasn't making any money anymore, and it was all over. So I just turned around, and I went back to Puerto Rico. I get to Puerto Rico, I am broke. I have no money, I have no job, and I don't know what I'm going to do. But when I get there, I noticed that she's looking at me a little weird and stuff, and I was like, what's going on? She said, oh, nothing. And then every time we go out, now we're not going to the big clubs, we're going to the parties that the college people are having and stuff. So we hanging out at the college parties, and there's this dude, and every time we go someplace, dude is looking at me, checking me out, like, dude, come on, man. You don't know who I am, huh? Because I be, But it's so I said to her, man walking down the street just tried to stare me down. And when I looked at you, baby, you looked at the ground. I don't know who he is. I think that you do. Gadgummit, who is he and what is a he to you? And she just broke down. She said, oh, when I first come down here, I meet him and we get together and then you call and I go back to New York and I see you and everything is okay. And then I come back here again and I see him. So we start dating again. And then you come to Puerto Rico and I chump him off and you and I get back together again. I said, oh, like that. She said, but when you left the last time, I made a decision and I decided that it is not you that I love, it is him. And you need to go to someplace else because you can't stay at my house anymore. So now I'm in Puerto Rico. I'm broke, I'm homeless, and I don't know what to do. A friend of mine says, yo, man, you can stay at my apartment. I got a studio apartment, but you can stay at my apartment Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But the rest of the week, you have to find someplace else to go or you can sleep on the floor. I said, okay, cool, it's a good deal. So after about 2 weeks, I say to him, where is it that you go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? He said, you don't know about the middle-aged women? I said, no, man, I don't know what you talking about. He said, let me introduce you to the middle-aged women. So he took me down to the condado and he started introducing me to these middle-aged women. Middle-aged women are cool. When I first started liking middle-aged women, I was like 7 years old. And I had this auntie, Nenny Gloria, and she did all the cooking and stuff, and she'd always be in the kitchen, and you go and she'd give you these hugs, and you'd be all up on her breasts and stuff like that, and it just felt so good, And then when I grew up older, I used to run sandwiches for this diner, and they had Miss Cora in there. Miss Cora was fine. She had them big old shapely legs, and you know what I'm saying? She was like almost too fat, but just right. And I was like, man, but then there was Miss Queenie. And Miss Queenie, man, she was a chocolate thunder. She looked so good. She walked down the street, she had a big old butt, and her butt looked like it had a life all its own when she was walking down the street. I was like, yeah. So, it was so dude introduced me to middle-aged women. And so it turns out that in Puerto Rico and the Caribbean, middle-aged women pay young dudes to hang out with them. So I was like, are you serious? He said, yeah, man. So I started hanging out with them. And the good thing about middle-aged, like with young women, you be having sex with them, and you're a young dude, you be trying to break something, yeah, I'm finna do this, yeah, come on. Middle-aged women like this shit. They be like, yeah, I'm with you, come on, get it, let me get on top. You know, I mean, it's like I love middle-aged women. And so it took me about 2 months to earn enough money to move from Puerto Rico to someplace else. Thank you very much.